The sarcophagus with philosopher, orant, and Old and New Testament scenes is done for a wealthy patron at some point along the line. And what we see are wealthy patrons who may be pagan, Jewish, or Christian. And we're going to see images on these sarcophagi that are going to play off of all of those traditions. They're going to be legible in different ways. This one is carved on marble. And imagery like this is very similar to what we see painted in the catacombs. We see a mixture of scenes and motifs. Many Christian images with pagan roots. Of course, Christianity borrowing from anyone around them, just like every other society that's developing an artistic tradition. These are universal themes, both Christian and pagan. And this is going to be important because oftentimes these are created before purchase. These are not custom-made pieces all the time. So in this case, what we see is in these central figures, we may see a philosopher or we may see some form of priest. And here you see how we can read it as pagan or Christian or Jewish. Because that person could be a rabbi, could be a priest, could be a philosopher. The woman next to him could be any figure. And orant is not just a Christian form. This is something we see throughout. And so it might be that this woman has found enlightenment through philosophy, or it could be that she's telling us that this is a particularly religious piece. On the left, we see this figure who could be Orpheus, but could also be Jonah. And we see the animals and the boat giving us all sorts of different possibilities. The animals, if this is Orpheus, are being brought together by his music, by his song. Or if this is Jonah, then they are symbols of faith. On the right, we see figures of someone, an older figure with a beard who could be God or Jesus, or could just as easily be Zeus, or maybe Apollo or Mercury. We're not entirely certain who these figures might be. Or it could be God with Mercury or Apollo, very famously born as gods and seen as very youthful, so much smaller than what we see from the god next to him. The man with the sheep, again, that could be a famous scene of Mercury stealing a sheep from Apollo. Or it could be an image of Jesus, very similar to what we've seen in the past. It's actually a really remarkable piece because they're trying to create something that is universal. And from the perspective of the artist, it makes a lot of sense. I can sell more of these if I make it universal in some way. It also means that they have an understanding of Christianity, of the Roman state religion, and possibly of philosophy. So a remarkable piece of sculpture in the form of a sarcophagus.